To become a legend, a car needs to look amazing, have great performance, and have a cool name. That's why the Tomaso Pantera is such a famous car. Besides its fierce name and stylish Italian design, the Pantera stood out because it was an incredible sports car created during tough times for high-performance vehicles. Like the car itself, the story of the Tomaso Pantera is complex and filled with bold choices and some controversy. Still, some cars with interesting backstories often have memorable features, making them even more loved. So, without further ado, let's dive into how this supercar was created and why it's still one of the most beloved classic cars today. How did it come into being? Long before Horacio Pagani left Lamborghini to start his own brand in northern Italy, another Argentinian pioneer, Alejandro de Tomaso, was making waves in the Italian automotive scene. After escaping Argentina and Juan Perón's regime, de Tomaso set up his own car company in Modena in 1959. There, he met and married Isabel Haskell, a fellow racer from New Jersey, and together they launched De Tomaso Automobili. Initially known for race cars, de Tomaso ventured into road cars in 1963 with the Vallelunga, a mid-engine sports coupe powered by a 1.5-liter Ford inline-4 engine. The Vallelunga, designed by Carrozzeria Fisori and built by Ghia, was notable for its innovative backbone tube chassis. The next De Tomaso creation was the Mangusta, inspired by the unfinished De Tomaso P70 Can-Am project, and designed with a dramatic wedge shape by Ghia. Named after the mongoose, known for its prowess in hunting cobras, the Mangusta showcased de Tomaso's ambition and racing heritage. What makes this car rare or special? When Alejandro de Tomaso introduced the Mangusta, it marked the beginning of a deeper relationship with Ford of America. Despite its uniqueness and the fact that only 400 were made, the Mangusta wasn't quite ready for mass-market success. Recognizing this, de Tomaso leveraged the opportunity after Carroll Shelby left Ford, partnering with the Detroit-based automaker. Lee Iacocca, a key figure behind this strategic move, saw an opportunity to fill a performance gap in Ford's lineup. He brought together an Italian exotic with proven American power, creating a sports car that would outshine competitors like General Motors and American Motors Corporation. This was part of a broader strategy to introduce a mid-engine sports car to the market before anyone else. Ghia, the renowned design firm, was responsible for the Pantera's sleek look. However, de Tomaso had more ambitious plans. He needed a modern chassis to ensure the car's performance could meet the demands of mass production. For this, he turned to Gianpaolo Dallara, an expert in vehicle engineering. The powertrain would stay American, utilizing the best Ford had to offer at the time. The final design was crafted by Tom Jarda, an American designer who spent most of his career in Europe. The Pantera's development was swift, taking only 9 months. This was partly due to concerns that Chevrolet might release a mid-engine Corvette and AMC might continue with the Bizzarini-developed AMX3. Although neither happened, the Pantera made its debut in Modena, Italy, before being showcased in the United States at the 1970 New York Motor Show. The entire production process occurred at de Tomaso's factory in Modena, but the Pantera was primarily intended for the North American market. As a high-end exotic car, it was sold through select Lincoln Mercury dealerships, making it a standout in the American sports car scene due to its unique mid-engine design. What was the car's original value in sales? The Pantera, priced at $10,000, was more akin to an Italian exotic sports car than a typical American model. Its closest domestic rival was the $4,000 Chevrolet Corvette, while genuine Italian exotics were priced around $20,000, making the Pantera an affordable choice for enthusiasts seeking a taste of exotic performance. The Pantera enjoyed modest success, with approximately 3,000 units sold out of the 7,200 produced by the end of 1972. However, it was severely impacted by the 1973 oil crisis, which marked the end of the muscle car era and stalled American performance vehicles for the next 2 decades. De Tomaso's collaboration with Ford lasted until 1975, when the oil crisis drastically reduced the demand for such high-performance cars. Despite this, De Tomaso regained control of his company's rights and continued to produce the Pantera for the European market, where it primarily competed against Lamborghini models. Interestingly, while the 351 cubic inch 5.8 liters V8 engine was discontinued in the American market, Australian Ford continued to supply 351 Cleveland V8 engines for some time. Eventually, De Tomaso had to switch to the 351 Windsor V8 engine. To keep the Pantera viable, De Tomaso transitioned to a low-volume, made-to-order production model. But the Pantera underwent significant updates over its production run. The 1980 Pantera GT5 and the 1984 GT5S versions featured major styling changes, but the most dramatic redesign came in 1990. Marcello Gandini, a renowned Italian designer, completely overhauled the Pantera with the final model, the 1990 Pantera 90 SI. This model featured a revised chassis and a smaller 4.9-liter Ford 302 V8 engine. The Pantera 90 SI marked the end of the Pantera era. It remained in production until 1993, with only 40 units produced before the model was replaced by the Guara. Before we move on to hidden details about Pantera, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you like this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. Imagine what we could accomplish if everyone subscribed. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, is it done? Great. Thank you so much. Hidden details. When it comes to engines and transmissions, the Pantera saw several updates. Initially, it was equipped with a 5.7-liter 351 Cleveland Ford V8 engine, a newly introduced high-performance engine from Ford. This engine, closely related to Ford's developments, was subject to changes based on US regulations. At first, the Pantera used the M-Code 351 Cleveland V8 with a high compression ratio of 11.0 to 1. Delivering 330 horsepower and 380 pounds of torque. This engine was similar to the one used in the 1971 Mustang Boss 351. However, by the time the 1972 model year approached, De Tomaso switched to the Q-Code 351 V8. This version had a lower compression ratio of 8.6 to 1. And came with a Cobra Jet camshaft, intake manifolds, 4-bolt main caps, and an Autolite 4300D carburetor. Despite these enhancements, the Q-Code engine produced less power, 296 horsepower and 301 pounds of torque. Nonetheless, the Pantera was still a strong performer, accelerating from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 5.5 seconds and reaching a top speed of 150. In 1971, De Tomaso introduced the Pantera GTS, featuring a high-compression engine that produced 330 horsepower with a forged aluminum intake manifold and a special exhaust system. This model was mostly sold in Europe, with only a few reaching the US. In the US, the Pantera's engine was again reduced to 266 horsepower. When the supply of 351 Cleveland engines ran out, De Tomaso switched to the 351 Windsor V8. This engine was available in 2 versions, a standard 300 horsepower model and a 350 horsepower Grand Sport version. The Grand Sport featured hydraulic lifters, large port heads, a 4-barrel Holley carburetor, upgraded camshafts, and unique exhaust manifolds. For the final Pantera run from 1990 to 1993, De Tomaso used a 4.9-liter Ford 302 V8 engine, a direct descendant of the Mangusta's original powertrain. The engine in the Pantera SI model included a modern engine control unit and direct port fuel injection. Designed to meet US emissions regulations, the Pantera SI had a fully catalytic exhaust system, but ultimately none were exported to the US. Moreover, all Panteras were equipped with a ZF 5DS 25:1 5-speed manual transaxle, which sent power to the rear wheels through a limited slip differential. Design secrets. The De Tomaso Pantera underwent several changes in its design over the years. The 1971 from 1972 models featured split chrome bumpers below the pop-up headlights and rear lights. From 1972 to 1973, the Pantera L introduced full-width matte black bumpers and underwent various minor revisions, improving overall quality control and solving early electrical issues. The Pantera GTS was marked by its black interior trim, GTS badges, and riveted wheel arch extensions. In 1980, the racing GT5 version brought a more radical look, with a prominent front air dam, rear wing, and flared fenders, initially made of fiberglass but later in steel by 1984. The final redesign came in 1990 with the 90 SI, which featured a more modern appearance with a new aerodynamic kit, a unique windshield spoiler, and a redesigned rear end with an aerodynamic spoiler. How the De Tomaso Pantera made its mark in racing. The De Tomaso Pantera first raced in Group 3, where it underwent minor modifications to meet regulations. These included adjustable Coney shocks, wider tires, and tweaks to the engine and gearbox. Produced from 1972 to 1984, this version, based on the GTS model, was competitive for private teams. A more advanced Group 4 Pantera, developed by British engineer Mike Parks, featured significant upgrades such as a wider track, aluminum panels, and a fiberglass body kit. Its 351 cubic inch V8 engine, tuned by Bud Moore to nearly 500 horsepower, achieved modest success in the 1972 24 Hours of Le Mans. Despite its performance, the Group 4 Pantera continued racing globally. The De Tomaso Pantera stands as a symbol of Ford's unique offerings in the US, blending Italian design with American muscle. What are your thoughts on this iconic V8 supercar? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more automotive insights.